Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Thursday, November 30th, 2023. Welcome to day 1045. The United Nations World Meteorological Organization declared 2023 the warmest year ever recorded. Data from January through October showed global temperatures were around 1.4 degrees Celsius, or 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit, above the pre-industrial average. This, according to the provisional findings in the latest State of the Global Climate Report. Record global heating should send shivers down the spines of world leaders, and it should trigger them to act, said UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. We are living through climate collapse in real time, and the impact is devastating. The 9 years from 2015 to 2023 have been the warmest 9-year span in 174 years of scientific record keeping. 2023, meanwhile, broke both of the previous single-year records set in 2020 and 2016. The Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization called it a deafening cacophony of broken records. July was Earth's hottest month ever observed and may have been warmer than any time in the last 125,000 years. Meanwhile, the annual United Nations Climate Summit convened to try and reach an agreement on whether to phase out fossil fuels, which are the primary driver of global warming, or to scale up carbon capture technology to reduce emissions. The International Energy Agency, however, has called the idea of widespread carbon capture an illusion. The COP28 Climate Summit is hosted this year by the United Arab Emirates, which is a member of OPEC, and the person responsible for brokering a global climate deal is the CEO of one of the world's largest oil producers. Days before COP28 began, it was reported that the Sultan planned to use his role as president of the COP to promote Abu Dhabi National Oil Company fossil fuel sales. He told delegates during his opening address that they must ensure the inclusion of the role of fossil fuels in any climate agreement, and suggested that oil and gas companies can lead the way. Back in the U.S., the EPA proposed requiring water utilities nationwide to replace all of their lead pipes within 10 years, in an effort to prevent another public health catastrophe like the one in Flint, Michigan, where approximately 99,000 residents were exposed to lead. Lead is a neurotoxin that can cause irreversible damage to the nervous system and the brain, and EPA estimates say 9.2 million lead pipelines bring water to people across the U.S. If finalized, utility companies for the first time would be required to dig up and replace their lead piping, even if their lead levels aren't that high. The EPA has said the effort could cost around $45 billion. And finally, the Senate Judiciary Committee authorized subpoenas for conservative billionaire Harlan Crow and judicial activist Leonard Leo about their close personal and financial relationships with some Supreme Court justices. The subpoenas were approved by 11 Democratic senators after Republican members refused to vote and walked out of the committee room. Despite the successful vote, the Senate would be forced to hold a vote to enforce the subpoenas if Leo and Crow choose not to comply, and it may not win the 60 votes required since the partisan split in the chamber is so close. The subpoenas are part of an ongoing investigation into Supreme Court ethics and how undisclosed activists and donors have used gifts and luxury travel to gain access to the justices. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.